And I am from Canada. Welcome. So, to everyone who doesn't know, we are running the CEA Chess League. And this is actually the first year that CEA is actually running a chess tournament. Because they've been running the past at least 5 years, with LOL, League of Legends, Overwatch, and other video games, and it's nice addition that we got chess here. Okay, so today, as mentioned, IBMA is going to be playing against Pawnket Games, and basically, I hope all of you chess lovers know a little bit about IBM because they did create one of the first computer engines with Gary Kasparov versus Deep Blue. But anyways, let's take a look at the games that have already started. Yep. And h6 is kind of a problem, but as you can see, the knight is protecting the bishop on f7. Knight e6 is kind of one of the last hopes to not lose the piece, but I mean, the bishop on f7 is going to be busy protecting the knight on e6, so it's going to be tricky. Mhm. Yeah, I think f6. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Like, yeah, like rook, I think like rook b8 and rook b6 ideas, maybe. Oh, Alex Alex, did you unmute yourself? Did you unmute yourself? Um, because people say that they can't hear you. Oops. But you guys can hear me though. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
it should be working
I
now.
I
Great.
apologize.
Great. Now it should be
Sorry
working.
about that. It's just that when we do the starting soon, when we do the starting soon
Yeah.
screen, we do have to mute ourselves, and then I guess there's maybe the unmute button was wrongly
All right,
pressed. It's
that
all
was a
good.
good
It's all
point. That was a good point. Okay, so D3, as
awesome.
as we were saying, Queen takes B7 was running to Rook B8, but White didn't went for it. I have this H4, A6, and F4, which is something that I really like about White's position here. Just trying to open up that Fianchetto bishop finally. So we have pawn takes, bishop takes, castle.
Sure. But what about that weak square on G4 though? Like
Well,
if black can get
yeah,
the
I
knight
mean,
on G4.
I'm more of a positive person, and I'm trying to not think about it. I'm just trying to see the fact that the bishop on G2 has been opened. Of course, as you very well pointed out, the G4 square has been weakened forever, and black can at any point go like knight G4, knight E3. But yeah, I mean, it's anyways really tough to find a plan for white without opening up that bishop.
But I mean, sometimes you have to make sacrifices, especially when you're trying to activate your pieces, right? Sometimes you open up a bishop, but you lose something else in return,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
exactly. So this is what's happening here, and
oh,
and and can we just
there's
move
actually
on?
one.
Yeah, to
What are the
the
games?
to the
Yeah,
game
what are
that
the
has
games that are
finished.
finished?
So yeah, it looks like black just ended up winning that position that we claimed to be a legal's mate that didn't work out for white, and yeah, it's a pity because white really
Yeah.
got a bad opening and didn't really manage to come back in the game from that. So again, just a clear sign
I
that
mean, I
openings
mean,
are
it's
really important in
I
chess.
mean, it's really, it's also really hard to generally win without a queen. I mean, you have to have a lot of, well, no, I mean, it's good to play aggressively, but even without a queen and playing aggressively, your opponent has to make more mistakes
Yeah,
to
we can call
to
this
end up
a
losing the
Bottas
game
gambit
if
that
there are
that that
queens.
went wrong. I
So,
think. I think we can just leave it that way. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, but
okay.
good job, Carolyn. Just for next time, just make sure that when you are thinking about giving up your queen, that you're 100% sure that it will lead to something, because then your rest of your game is going to be quite tricky to play. So,
Yeah, that was a very committed decision with knight g5. So going back to which game, I think let's try this one that we left here, and yeah, I mean white was much better, but I'm not sure how I feel about that fianchetto knight on b7 anymore. So yeah, I mean, tricky position. I think black is making the right things to try to get a swindle, as we talked about in the previous stream. I'm not sure how white is trying to keep that knight. I mean, it's really funny because the knight is looking to be trapped, but it's actually like not so simple to take it, and you know.
no, and if the black knight moves away right now, there might even be an interesting move like rook to d7. Like if
Yeah,
the
that
knight
that that, that
moves
would be that would
uh,
be that would be great. That would be great to keep in mind. You'll
g8
just
or something.
yeah, I got it, but yeah, I think we also have to be careful about this thing over there with the rook
The
d7
rook,
idea.
the rook looking at our own king. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
but
yes.
but
You're
that
right.
that was
Yes.
like a great thing, highlighting the fact that the knight is pinned, and you can just try to occupy like this. This would be one of the best squares that you can try to ever hope for your rooks. So going with a rook on the seventh rank, is generally the best position for your rook. So that was a very instructive idea. And now after knight h5, it looks like white can try to win material by going for simply the queen trade and then picking up the c6 knight, finally defending the b7 one. That it's quite lonely over there, and white might seem to be ending up on top here. By the way, do you think the game between let me check, between Snowman and Plaid Squid?
Sorry,
Yeah, I think we're missing a game, right? I think one of the games
yeah.
has been delayed. Okay, so white is going for what we've talked about, and it just seems to be that white is up a rook, and an idea that white can try to, in order to bring this knight back to life, is, I mean, he here simply go knight d8, or now can just take the bishop. But in the previous position, I was thinking to do something like a4, trying to play a5, and then simply taking on b6 and opening up the a file for the rook, and then the knight will get more squares, and we can like try to catch a breath. So knight takes c5 has happened on the board, and now white is up a lot of material. So I think we can try to have a look on this game that we left.
So Karthik's game and Snowman's game, they did start a little bit ago. Maybe we can.
Oh, okay. Let's try to
that
check. Let's try to check that one.
So, by the way, for the future teams who are going to be streaming live, it is best to try to come online 1 or 2 minutes prior, just so that we can get the games up. Because the Karthik game, he just wasn't online in time, so I wasn't able to follow him.
Yeah, and looks like karma is going to come here into play, because white is completely winning now. Is up a bishop, and black has very little to do about it.
There's a really nice protected pass pawn on f5 as well, but I mean that's not really needed, but I like to point those things out.
Yeah,
Even
that's important. Like,
even if white wasn't up a piece, that pawn on f5 would be quite.
No, yeah, that's a great asset in the position. Like, imagine I mean, not now, but like in this type of position, you can simply somehow trade both bishops and rook for this two guys, and then you'll be winning in the king and pawn endgame. So that's always something that I'm thinking about, which just gives you an instant win. So that was very well pointed out. But now white seems to be simply collecting.
Well, black was trying to win the bishop
back
at some point.
Black might try to play for the stalemate. Let's see. Black might be going for the stalemate. I mean,
honestly,
why you see what white is not taking it? White is not allowing black to play for stalemate. Wow.
That's good. That's a really good approach. To be honest, my dad always said, even don't be greedy. Leave a pawn or two to your opponents. That's what my dad would always say, because then you don't have to worry too much about stalemate if your opponent has 1 or 2 pawns that can still move.
But white just nailed that game. I mean, white just played it beautifully. Just pre-move the checkmate. You already have a game starting, so okay, let me just update the scoreboard real quick. So we got a win in the Caroline game for Dixit.
Caroline game, Dixit won. For the Mark game is still going on. For Snowman won. Snowman ended up winning that game against Karthik.
Yep, I'll adjust that in a second.
And then Plaid Squid ended up winning against Tyler.
Okay, so what do we have here? We have knight g5 on the board, trying to go for the f7 square really early on in the game. And you know what I would like to see here? I would like to see d5. Ah, it didn't happen. I would have liked to see d5.
Oh, nice.
I would have liked to see this line, and
This is
then knight takes f7.
round 2 already for Plaid Squid.
Yeah, I think it's
Indians.
already, they're already playing the round 2. It looks like they started a little bit
Okay.
earlier than the other players. At least,
Oh,
it's to me, yeah.
interesting.
Okay, so
Well, I mean, yeah, just winning the queen. Sadly to say, that black queen is gone when it comes to the Plaid Squid game. There's knight e6 now coming, and that queen is trapped. This is probably the first time I've seen a queen trapped so early in the game. Actually, I feel really bad for Plaid Squid right now.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful the way White played it.
So my recommendation, because I do teach a lot of like kids and adults, and if you are uncomfortable with your f7 pawn as black, just don't play e5. Like, play e6. Block off that diagonal. Because if you're the type of person that forgets how to defend against those situations, you may as well not put yourself into that situation. Mark lost against WCH and Snowman won. Oh, I just wanted to let you know, Alex. Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Let's take a look at other game. Or I guess there's only one, the Karthik. Oh, Karthik and Mark are now playing. So there's one other game that has already started.
That is right. And we have one of my favorite openings. I mean, not really a King's Indian, but you can get to this kind of positions from the King's Indian. So this pawn structure is called the Benoni pawn structure, especially after black plays with c5 and has this fianchetto bishop on g7. So now we have e5, which White decided to take immediately. Okay, interesting.
Is that normal? Is it normal to capture with the bishop, or do you usually capture with the pawn here to open up the f5?
Usually they don't really capture. Like after e6, you'd like to go e6 and then e takes on d5.
Right.
So White usually is not
Correct,
taking.
but okay, but what about black? Instead of capturing with the bishop, is it better to just capture with the pawn? Or
well, it's always a little bit tricky. It's considered to be better to capture with a pawn, but it's still like not really all that simple, because then your bishop is going to be close. But in this position, White can play for knight d5. So I think yes, the taking with a pawn would have been a little bit better.
But black did a really good job, and black ended up moving the queen out of the pin. Because yeah, as you said, knight d5 could have been problematic for. But I still think knight d1 is the way to go. Sorry guys, we actually had like the results listed last week. It's just that we have a new overlay. So for next week, we'll have everything completely ready.
Yeah, and by the way, you have bishop takes g6 on the board. How do you feel about that?
Bishop, I don't. Oh yes, right. The queen's in danger. Ouch. Ouch! 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 Yeah, that's quite.
That was a nice find. Now eliminate. Oh, here very important. Take on g6. Zwischenzug. That's how you call this. Did you know that?
Yep.
I love mixing it up with German words.
Zwischenzug is in between move, right?
Yeah. It's something
Zugzwang is
surprising.
is when oh, by the way, Florian said that my voice is lower than yours again.
Oh, I will
Um,
take care of that in a
it
second.
used a
This I
bit.
think this just makes it much better now.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries. So we have queen e2 attacking the e5 pawn.
Thank you for being the tech guy of the show.
So we actually have a decisive
the
game.
E5 pawn is
We have a decisive game. We have a checkmate on b5. Do you see that? How did that happen? Oh, we left it
yes.
here. With that was
Let's
the game with the early queen chap. Oh yeah, that was.
Yes, yeah.
It looked like not so many
But as
chances.
said earlier, that if you lose your queen in the beginning of the game with no type of compensation, it's very hard to come back unless your opponent ends up making mistakes.
Yep.
But the thing is that you can't expect your opponent to make mistakes. Like, you should always be thinking that your opponent is going to make the best moves.
Yeah,
And
you
then,
should be
and then if
forcing your
your
opponent somehow.
doesn't,
You should be forcing
Yep.
your opponent to make the
Yep.
mistakes, otherwise they're rarely going to come.
Yep. Well, that's why you should play aggressively, but if your opponent sees everything, that's why when you're up material, it's very, very important to never ever be overconfident, because like even last week we saw like some games where someone who is significantly lower rated ended up beating someone else. So anything can happen, right? Especially in this type of tournament where the chess players are not playing chess all the time. They're just playing a game once a week.
Let's see
Alex, I know you play
Carolyn's
regularly.
game. Yeah, let's see. I mean, not that often these days, surprisingly, but let's see Carolyn's game. It looks really interesting. We have this h5 trying to take advantage of this overextended king side, which is
I know.
an aggressive move. And I like this this pressure.
I think both sides have to be careful, because both black and white's king is going to be open.
You know what I
both
would
sides should be.
You know what I would have done here? I would have maybe tried to go knight takes with the idea to plant the knight on g3, because then the pawn is pinned. I think that would have been an interesting idea.
Oh,
but we have pawn takes.
or even knight f4.
Yeah, even knight f4.
Or
and
even
then
like having the knight on f4.
Yeah, that's also a point with like queen g5 incoming, and then trying to go for the checkmate on g2. But let's see how this is. Knight takes c4, good move. Why is not knight g3 working in this position? I'm guessing queen c4 picking up the bishop is a problem. So black plays queen d5, trying to stop that idea. And now knight g3. Missed knight g3. Now it would have been the perfect timing to just simply take advantage of the fact that the pawn is pinned, and black would have been forking both queen and rook. So rook d8, knight g5.
Does the black queen have to be a little bit worried about that pin? Exactly.
I think it must be worried like
I
a lot.
still think knight g3 doesn't. Oh no, knight g3 doesn't work, because
it
bishop
comes.
takes
It's
d5.
a Zwischenzug again. It's a Zwischenzug. Yeah, I mean this is the theme of the day. Yeah.
Oh, it kind of sucks that that bishop takes d5 is check, because otherwise black would be able to capture the white queen with check.
Yeah, but black has a beautiful save here. Black can go for bishop takes. Oh, goes rook f4. I like that. That's something that I would normally do in the King's Indian to open the bishop, but unfortunately, white might seem in time with
knight takes e4 though.
Yeah, knight takes c4.
Or bishop,
knight takes c4, yeah, but bishop f4 is even worse. But like this rook e4 4 idea, I kind of like it. It's just that it doesn't work on concrete bases here. But like rook f4, I sometimes do that in the king's in where I have like my bishop on g7. Then after takes, I kind of open that bishop, and it's just such a strong positional sacrifice that it's worth giving up the exchange for opening up the bishop. But yeah, here it seems like
Yeah.
white is just collecting a lot of material. But still, I mean, white's king can get pretty weak, so I wouldn't rush to call this game, although it.
Maybe queen d7.
Yeah, queen d7. I
Queen
would somehow
d5.
love to get my queen to g3, but I don't really see like a realistic way of doing that. Okay, can we try to
Yeah.
move on to the this game
Yep.
played between
You can move on to any of the games.
Okay, let's do this game played by Snowman. So it started as a wow, this is such a theoretical game. It started as a Slav, and it's an exchange Slav, and this Slav, when you flank out the bishop, is usually called the Schlechter Slav, but I think the pure Schlechter Slav, it's after knight f3 and g6. So this inclusion of cd5, it makes it the exchange variation, if you're trying to be very precise about the names of this. But let's see how the game developed, because black went for g5, really risky business trying to go for this bishop and overextend a little bit on the king side. But to me it seems that maybe it would have been slightly better for white to try to just get advantage of that by playing aggressively with h4.
Yes.
But now, I mean, if
that's actually what with the flexibility, when one side doesn't castle, when one side hasn't castled, it gives them the flexibility of potentially
exactly, and
as you said, h4.
And now g5 at that moment was a bad move, but if not punished, now it becomes a very good move, because black has just this extra space on the king side to play with. So knight takes e4, bishop takes on e4, knight to d2, attacking the bishop, bishop g6, very good move, keeping the bishop, e6, rook c1, queen d7, knight b3, b6. I mean, just look at how black beautifully countered this knight c5 idea by white. So both sides have been playing pretty clean so far, and we have this e4, d4 trades of bishops, but now this pawn on d4 is an isolated pawn that black can try to attack and eventually win. So queen d5 is a good centralizing move, queen to d3, and I'll be worried about all kinds of knight e5 ideas, but luckily for white, the rook is defended by the knight, so it still doesn't really seem to work. But now I have knight e7, which, wow, this is such a great regrouping move, heading to f5. I really love the way Snowman is playing this. So rook c8, rook c8, bishop to e5 by white. Again, a very interesting idea, trying to get rid of this bishop that was putting a lot of pressure on the d4 pawn. So very clean game by both sides so far. Black is trying to minimize the risks of this game by trading the queens. And after king takes g7, it does seem that black might be winning the pawn next if he somehow manages to get rid of the b3 knight. But white just went g4. So still a very well played game so far. I would say this game is. Wait, what just happened? g4, and white won. What? What happened?
Oh. I don't see that this is necessarily. Am I missing something? It doesn't seem.
No, it's just
like white.
Black is just much better here, but the game. I mean, just black. It says black resigned. I don't know.
I actually like the idea of maybe even playing something like knight to h4 with knight f3 check in mind. But it might be a little bit off the board,
strange.
though. Or maybe knight e7, knight e7 and knight d5, or knight c6.
No, I think I don't know. We need to ask the players, because this is just a much better position for black, but he just resigned here, and the other games are also over.
Opponents.
Wow. the other games are also over. So Caroline lost again. Let me add the
Yep.
scoreboard real quick.
Yep. And
update everything.
yeah, no worries.
And
Thank you so much, Alex. Appreciate it.
Yeah, what happened in the Mark game against Kartik? I think Kartik lost that one.
Karthik won the game.
Kartik won
versus Mark Cuban.
Wait,
Yes.
what happened over there? Kartik.
It's because Black actually missed mate in one. Basically
What?
for the whole entire game, you know, the queen was, well, actually, yeah, the queen was defending checkmate like the whole entire game, and then sadly to say, sometimes you forget.
Oh, but yeah, I see.
Sometimes the queen. Sometimes you forget.
Well, yeah, it looks like
Ouch.
Kartik was better though during the whole game, so he was pressing.
But you know, what ended up happening with Black? This is a very common problem that ends up happening, and it happens even with strong chess players, like stronger chess players, especially when your one piece is protecting checkmate for like 10 moves. It's very easy to then all of a sudden forget.
Yeah, you just have that living under that false impression that you're, you know, something is defending you, but then it's when it's just you realize that it's not. Well, this is when it's
exactly
it's bad. So it's
yeah. Let me check. Yeah.
Yeah, we have some new games starting, so I'll just update this real quick, and we can focus on the third round.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Got it. Yep. So with Mark Cuban's game, Mark lost and Karthik won. And then for the Snowman
the
game,
Snowman, I know he resigned in that winning position for some reason.
You know what? Maybe something came up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, no. It actually seems like something came up because in the third game between Snowman, oh no, he accidentally accepted someone else's challenge. Never mind.
Oh, during the game?
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay. We can focus on this one. What do we have? Do we have a Queen's Gambit? Wait, what is that? It's like an accelerated Queen's Gambit? I'm not sure what's the name of this opening, but maybe it just doesn't have a name.
With Knight of 6?
Yeah, because Black is supposed to play this, to prepare this d5 push by going e6 and then play for d5. So going d5 this early in the game is usually not advisable, because White can create this massive pawn center. But it seems that Black got quite a comfortable square for the knight though. So it might be just fully justified now. Okay,
it's good. I'm glad that Snowman is back in playing. So seems like there might have been a misunderstanding in the previous game. Good to see that nothing.
Okay, let's actually have a look on his game if you mentioned him. So he's going e4. He's an e4 person, and he's playing this c3 setup, which is something I think really nice and easy to tackle this kind of Pirc/modern defense setups, because usually this bishop is the one that's doing the work on the long diagonal. So playing this kind of c3 setup, trying to kill that bishop, can be something quite annoying to face here. And we have e5, bishop to e2.
I'm a little bit surprised that that a lot of people are playing King's Indian defense as Black, even though it's one of the most theoretical Black openings of like I've heard by really strong chess players that it's one of the most theoretical Black openings.
Yeah,
ever.
no, definitely. And like, my favorite opening, and maybe the one that I play the most. So to be honest, I wouldn't really recommend it for club players. But to be fair, the opening is just so much fun to play, and you can just try it out even without preparing it that much. Because now it's all about this pawn structure that we get, because it's all about white pushing on the queen side and black going
I
for the
just
checkmate.
I just find that the dragon is a little bit more easier to play for club players, and you won't like lose pretty quickly with the dragon, um, unless your opponent like memorized everything. Which in club players, it's not always the case that they know everything.
Yeah, I like the
Um,
dragon. I think it's matching well with the King's Indian if you're trying to build up a repertoire based on Fianchetto for black. So that could definitely be something to keep in mind. Although I growed up watching Bobby Fischer's games, and he was combining the King's Indian with a Najdorf,
right.
so that's why I picked up the Najdorf. But uh, you know, if he was playing the dragon, maybe I would have been a dragon player these days. But I guess we'll never find that one out. So let's just focus on this game, and we have this white going for the early push, and I really
Ooh,
like what Snowman
discovered.
does, because he's going for
Yeah.
very active play, and now black has a very tricky situation to deal with, because he's got a lot of problems on the F file. So meanwhile, I think we can check the other games that are
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
played. So we've actually checked this one. Let's
Plaid
have a look
squid.
on
Pretty bad.
have a look on Caroline's game, because we haven't checked that one yet. So she's doing great in this
Ooh,
one.
Caroline.
Uh,
Yeah. I love her position compared to White's, because like the knight on h3 was a little bit
she
misplaced.
actually developed her pieces really nicely in this one. All of her moves are
Yeah,
very active and
very
very
solid.
yeah, very. It's just like a lot of textbook play
See
here.
this knight on h3. I have no idea where it's going. That's the problem, because like even knight g5, the knight is going to be chased with h6, and then the white knight will have to go back, right? So moving the knight towards the side of the board isn't always a bad idea, as long as if you have a plan in the future for that night. But if you don't have a plan, and like my colleague always likes to tell the young kids that we teach, every move should have a purpose. Try not to make moves with no purpose. Like look for something else then, right?
Yeah, I think this knight might be heading towards f2, but again, it's f2 is not the most active square on the board
Not at
for
all.
that knight. And
Ooh, queen
she
d3. I
goes
like this
queen
move.
d3, just looking to pick up that pawn from c4, and I like that
Well,
idea.
it also puts white under some issues, because that bishop on c1 is going to have a hard time developing, and that d2 pawn is always going to be a threat, because if black doubles up, right, like
Yeah,
moves
yeah.
the rook to
I just
d8.
highlighted the bishop when you were about to say it. So yeah,
Oh, okay, awesome.
Queen d3, great move. And yeah, just going active with a queen, connecting the rooks. The rook might get into the d file, and I'd love to just kick that queen with knight f2, but I wouldn't really like to give up the c4 pawn for free, but I'm not sure what to do here with white, because I was about to say that queen b3 is a way to defend it, but this allows black to go for knight a5.
Knight a5,
Yeah,
yeah.
defending the b7 pawn that has been under attack, and also like attacking the c4 pawn one. So yeah, black has this kind of multi-purpose move with knight a5, which, as you said, that the knight is not always bad on the edge of the board. Here, it's gonna be like done for tactical, reasoning, because it's just going to win a pawn. It's not that you love to have the knight on the edge of the board, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. You just have to
Well,
get
a-
that pawn.
well, anything in chess that is being taught to you, there's always exceptions. always. Like, if they say double pawns are bad, right? Generally
No.
speaking, yeah, double pawns are generally bad, but if you can get something else out of it, then it's actually not so bad. Or if your double pawns your opponent can't get to, once
No,
again,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
not actually weakness.
I actually get a lot of flashbacks with great double pawns in the center. So I'm a double pawns person, I think. So yeah, that was a good point. Okay, maybe we can switch to some other games. Meanwhile, I think there's been some progress
exactly.
made in this one. So now that if we're looking at this game and we don't know any of the previous moves, it's really resembling is really resembling a Karo Khan position, where White went for the advanced line, and now the what Black can play around this beautiful d5 square and try to squeeze the d4 pawn. And now what it looks like is going to be happening, it's that Black will take on d6, get rid of the annoying knight, and after ed6, Black can simply double his rooks and collect that d6 pawn. And it's just that Black has such a nice positional plus, material advantage after he takes the pawn. But what I want you to actually learn from this position is the fact that, at the moment it looks like White has a space advantage, right? Because the d4 pawn and the e5 one are far more advanced than Black's e6 and c6 pawns. But in fact, here the position is totally safe for Black on the king side, and thanks to that fact, White's pawns are not giving him any advantage, and now they're just like some overextended pawns in the center that Black can try to exploit. So we have the move Queen e7, which is not really something that I love because it allows White to get rid of some of the pieces on the board, but it's still a pretty interesting endgame on the board. So I think now we'll switch a little bit to the gameplay. Wait, Snowman just won? Okay, wow. Snowman won in like a tactical fashion. So we left it, I think, on f takes e5. And then he was just winning the house basically here. Yeah, he was just Snowman coming back. He doesn't really seem to be very affected by the previous round. And now he's sacrificing his queen. Wow.
Yeah.
He goes. Wow.
Maybe he missed it.
Yeah, if he missed it, he made it look like he calculated it at least. Like if he missed it, at least it was looking very well done. So very well executed. So okay, let's just go to the game between Dixit Okmar. So yeah, going back to this kind of Karo Ken position, which started with the Queen's Gambit, but this is
this is pretty good for White because White can the rook d6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
double great. Up.
Get on the outpost.
Yeah, but sometimes White has to be a little bit careful because maybe Black can trade and then play pawn b6 and try to break off that pawn chain, but it's a little bit tricky. I think moving the king towards the center. Ooh, this move can be potentially good, but I think Black is now just creating this weakness on d5 that he has to worry about.
Yeah, now White's gonna bring
White
the king
can just play rook
there.
to d4.
I'll even try to bring the king there.
Or
to
king,
be honest.
Yeah, king is even better.
Exactly.
King is actually better. You're absolutely right.
So maybe I can use the rook on the other
A4,
side of the board.
B5.
Yeah, maybe try to use the rook on that side.
Yeah, so White shouldn't have traded off that f5 pawn, in my opinion, because that's a potential weakness. And a4 and b5, you want to work on where you have the pawn majority, not where you are equal, right?
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, sure. So I'm trying to figure out. That's the only decisive game that we've got. So Caroline's still playing.
Yep.
So again, a very tense game.
Yep. Everyone other than Snowman versus Plaid Squid is currently playing. But everyone is very close to time pressure because most games have either 2 minutes on the clock or less. So we're definitely coming close. Oh, this game with the queen on b3, right, to protect the c4 pawn. I guess knight a5 was not played earlier.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
To try to win the pawn.
No, it wasn't.
But it's not so easy to see. It's not so easy to see, especially if Caroline was always taught to keep the pieces in the center. Moving your knight towards the side of the board can be tricky to see.
No, it's
right?
really
So-
counterintuitive because, as you said, you have to see something that you generally don't want to do, and this is where all the tricky parts come in because as you said, it's really tough to play the game by the rules. I mean, obviously not the how to move the pieces rules, but like the strategical rules.
The strategic, positional.
Yeah, exactly. But now it looks like at this point, she forgot about the fact that White can take with the bishop. I think she wanted to take the knight and mostly consider queen takes b4, where she's in time to trade and then move the rook. But I think she might have forgotten about the fact that bishop takes b4 as catching this guys over there on the diagonal.
Exactly, and I think a lot of people who are not very they don't play chess consistently, is that understanding attackers versus defenders, right? She probably thought, oh, I have 2 defenders on the knight versus 2 attackers, but then missed the fact that White can just trade off that 1 defender, and then all of a sudden Black is left with only 1 defender versus 2 attackers. So it is definitely an important kind of topic in chess, is understanding attackers versus defenders.
No, I literally had this same discussion with one of my students today, so that was a very good point. With the attackers against defenders. So, wait, did she? Okay, it looks
generally speaking, if there's the same amount of attackers and defenders, then it should be either a trade or it's not safe to capture. But there are, of course, unique cases. Okay, let's take a look at some of the. The Mark did win that game. And let's take a look at Dixit. How's it going over here? Well, as you can see, White actually considered the plan of using the king as a blockader of the black pawn.
I love that.
And finally got the pawn majority. But of course, it would have been better if he never traded off that kingside pawn, because Black would still have that double pawns and not a very good endgame. I mean, the endgame, ooh, now some of the pawns are falling. Seems like Black is actually somewhat getting some compensation with what's going on.
Black is back.
See, now
Black is back. Black's back in the game.
Yeah. Maybe pawn b6 and then rook d6 check, capture the pawn on g6, and White has
looks like Black is playing this for a win now. Looks like Black has totally turned the tables. And it's really tricky now because all the king and pawn end games are lost now.
You know, this is why I actually kind of find lower ranked games
watch out for rook d3 next.
Quite interesting, because things can go back and forth.
F4 is a beautiful idea now, highlighting the fact that rook takes f4 would allow rook d3 and going to the winning king and pawn endgame. But okay, that was tough to spot. And now Black just goes it for the easy way. This
It's
endgame is
I feel like it's a little bit tricky for Black to see under time pressure,
no,
especially.
it was very tricky, but I'm curious to see if Black has a technique to win this with only 10 seconds left. Because this is like a theoretically winning endgame, but I even
Yeah,
sometimes struggle to win it with 10 seconds, so it's still like very tricky to
exactly.
win. Because you know, White is always going
Yeah,
to
and
give some
especially if
checks.
and if Black ends up losing one of the pawns, it just becomes a higher chance of White have getting a draw in this case.
Yeah, I mean, losing one of the pawns would be
Because,
a total
rook
disaster.
pawn endgames, if you're only up one pawn. No, it seems like the method's working. Well, yeah,
Oh,
you
Rook e3, now it's just an easy win.
pawns as like shields from the check.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
trading. No, no, no. White, do not trade. When you're down, you do not trade your last valuable piece that's on the board, or I mean, a strong piece on the board.
Yeah, that was
Now this is
important.
just an
That was
easy
an
win. Maybe,
important
maybe
practical tip.
even Black will achieve a checkmate with the pawns.
Or maybe a stalemate after king
Who
f3.
knows?
It's gonna be a
Oh,
stalemate. It's
oh,
gonna
but
be
stalemate.
no
Hey,
no
I
no
mean,
no no
Black still
stalemate.
has to be careful.
I thought we're gonna see a stalemate, but no stalemate today.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's safe to say that Black should win, but anything can still happen.
No, I'll just make sure to add that. I'll just make sure to add it in advance. So important again here to not stalemate, to go like with the queen very close, but there it is. So by the way, did the game between Tyler
Yeah.
and Karthik was
Also, it
did
seems
it took
like Carolyn
place?
and Snowman's game started, but all of a sudden, I guess they didn't make a move.
I also missed the game between Tyler and Karthik in this round. I couldn't find that
No,
one.
I think maybe they are going to maybe restart the game because they both get 0. At least it says on my end. But anyways.
Okay, the games are
Okay,
starting. We have Karthik
second.
against Dixit. We have
The Tyler game.
the fourth round starting. So I don't know what is about the Tyler game.
Karthik won.
Oh, Karthik won. Okay, I'll add
Karthik
that
won.
one. I will add that one in a second. So yeah, looks like the fourth round. Wow, we have an Alapin. That is really nice. I mean, to me, like this Alapin brings a lot of memories from my early days as a chess player, because I don't see it very often
It's okay.
these
It
days.
happens. All rounds so far ended.
Yep.
Yes.
And now we have this Alapin that I was talking about.
Oh,
so
that's actually a really good point. This is a very. Did you notice, Alex? In every single round, it was tied.
No, I didn't notice. Yeah, that's a good point. So this is actually gonna be a decisive round, right? Hopefully. What happens if we get like 4 draws?
Correct.
Are we going to see an Armageddon?
Yep, we're gonna see what ends up happening.
Okay, so yeah, this Alapin is quite annoying, and I really like White's move order because he waited for Black to commit with this G6 move, and yeah, the C3 again, as we talked about the modern slash Pirk setups that you want to play for the C3 D4, trying to limit this bishop. We can see that it's kind of the common theme of the day, and I really like White's idea here.
It's actually going to be just a draw.
Oh, it's just a draw. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So really important here for White to go knight g5 and double attack these 2 pawns, winning back one of the pawns. So So yeah, this looks good for white. And yeah, I mean, I have a lot of bad memories from the black side of this Alapin from my early days of chess, because one of my the competitors for the Romanian junior championship, he was playing only this Alapin, and it's not that it was due to the opening, but he was just so much stronger at that point. And he was using this Alapin so effectively, and I think I literally lost at least like maybe between 5 to 10 Alapin games against him. So I mean, he really knew what he was doing in that, but yeah. Um, nowadays I rarely face this Alapin, so I don't think it's a bad opening at all, and it's like really annoying because one small inaccuracy from the black side, and you're just you can get in so much trouble.
How, Alex? How do you know all of these like openings? Because like I have always been bad. I know different opening setups, but I can't ever remember all of their names.
I don't know. It's
But
just
you seem
that
to
I
know
got
all openings.
yeah, I got to play most of them, and I also enjoy studying them. So like, if you're looking for an Alapin player
Good.
these days, Jordan van Foreest is using it from time to time. I think I can recall one of his games played against Daniil Dubov, where he got a win with us. So he's not going to play the Alapin in every single one of his whites games, but as I was saying, as a surprise weapon is just really annoying. But you know what? Because you've asked about this, how do I know all the names? I've been running into like something called the Nackmanson Gambit. Do you know what is that? No, I mean, there are like
No, not at all.
so many gambits that it's like so crazy that I've hear about these names after playing the game for like more than 10 years. I just like learn new gambits today. So yeah, I don't know all of them, but yeah, I mean, this Alapin, as I told you, I had this bad memories from my childhood.
Black was a little bit in a tough spot with like knight c7. He couldn't
Ooh, and watch out for
really stop
96
that
next. Yeah,
from happening. I think other than maybe, yeah. No, but that's giving up 2 pieces for the rook, so I don't know. Has to be careful. Oh, you mean after knight e6, bishop takes e6, and then the knight and rook is under attack. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. We could also just take it. I'm thinking. Okay, I think we can move on to like see, just get a vibe check from the other games as well. So we have this one against Plaid Squid, from Marco Ban. Let's just see how it started. Yep. It started as a Chigorian. Oh, that's interesting. F6 and then G6. I mean, the thing with this Chigorian is that so many of the lower rated players are doing it against the London, and I was struggling to actually find a clear-cut way to an advantage for white. So it's not that bad of an opening actually. But F6, and now I generally recommend playing for this bishop B5 idea. Whenever this knight stays on c6, I wouldn't really rush developing the knight, so probably just go bishop b5 here, and maybe even consider playing c4. But we have white going for this knight b5 move, which is generally very dangerous if you're not able to protect, but black is just in time with e5, so very well timed e5 by black, and now it seems to solve most of his opening issues.
So let's take a look at the Tyler game, because Tyler versus
Tyler won. What?
Can't really pronounce his username. Tyler did win already, so we can. So let's take a look at what happened in the game.
Whoa, what happened? That was a little bit of an
pretty fast game too.
Interesting Karo Khan, like not the most theoretical Karo Khan that you'll ever see, but seems to do the work.
White had a little
White
Is the
went
gambit
for this
mine?
vision zug. White went for this vision zug that ended the game on the spot. Love to see it. Yeah, I don't think it was a
Yeah.
gambit, to be honest, but maybe it was his
Was
gambit. I don't know the name of this gambit, but maybe he just invented it. Maybe this is the Tyler and
okay.
gambit. Okay, we can.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, it's not that it worked. Uh, it was it was brilliant. Okay, let's go back to this game. I feel like this is pretty interesting.
Okay, bishop e6 was good because e4 was a threat to win the knight. So
Yeah.
well, also to protect the knight, but e4 attacking the pinned piece.
Did Caroline's game started? I haven't really seen that one in this
It
round.
started again.
No, I'm not sure.
I
I'm asking you.
have. Oh no! Because I'm following both of the snowman and I'm following both, but for some reason the game has not started, and I do hope that the game starts very shortly because we're actually almost finishing up the other two games. The other two games, I mean,
Yeah,
most of the
the
opponents
fight
have
is
3 minutes or
getting
less.
pretty tense here with e4 looming here. So yeah, let's see.
There might be a technical difficulties. That's one of the downsides of having things online is that there's always going to be technical difficulties. That's why over the board tournaments can sometimes have difficulties with pairings.
No,
but other than that,
I mean, in the first day of the event, the first round just gets postponed for like 4 hours. Like if it's your first tournament and you're trying to rush to the playing hall, that is just like your biggest mistake because the round is just gonna start like at least 3 hours later. It's just like how it happens. I'm not sure how it's in Canada, but in Romania it's always that way. So at least take your like 3 hours.
not 4 hours, but I would say that sometimes 1 hour, and because people like come like 2 minutes before the round and they're like, hey, I'm confirming that I'm like, but it said that you should come here an hour before to confirm. And stuff like that. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm literally not exaggerating. It's at least 3 hours here, but I mean, you just get to like play a lot of games with your friends and kind of be in shape before the round. But other than that, it's it's really a struggle. So yeah, what happened in this game? Because White looked like he was doing very great, but now after bishop f4, ooh, that was. Oh, I could have missed that one. Bishop f4. Sneaky threat, attacking the knight. And knight e2. Just trying to not allow black to double the pawns, but White simply forgot about the fact that the c7 knight was under attack. And now Kartik is about to win another game, being up a knight here with... I really love the move b5 here, fixing those 3 pawns with only one. This is just beautiful. White tries a4. It's the best chance, trying to create this passed pawns, but black is just going to blockade them pretty soon, I think. So yeah.
So one thing that I would definitely say is that if White wants to try to, well, actually, I think White even has chances for a win. But basically, if you're down material in an endgame, it's actually better to trade pawns, because if you trade pawns, then you can go get into a king, rook, and knight versus king and rook endgame, and that's really tricky to win for the person who has the knight.
Okay, I think this is
it's just like one of my
this is really double-edged, as you said. I think White has all the chances
because of the 2 passed pawns.
I'm not sure about rook c3 though.
Yeah.
I would have tried to keep the valuable piece, as you said earlier.
Rook, yes, yeah. Exactly. No, you should really refrain when you're down points. You should really refrain in trading your strong pieces unless you know you have a
Black avoids
guaranteed
that.
win.
Wow. Yeah, black
So I
avoids
guess
that.
white is going to have to play, okay, c5, sure, but I think at some point maybe rook c2. But right now rook c2 doesn't work. Oh no, rook c2 doesn't work because of the b4 pawn that's hanging. Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, 100%. So white has to try to trade off as many pawns to try to get into a king and knight versus king ending. Because otherwise, black now definitely has more chances of winning. That one pawn that white lost changes the result of the game, sadly to say.
Yeah, we can try to get to the other game by
Sure.
Blood Squid against Mark Cuban, and
Yep.
and it looks great for white. The knight is getting to that g5 square, getting the exchange. So it seems that white is just going to win that one.
Yeah, exactly. And like pawn h4 could even be for the future to just give the knight support on that nice g5 square. Obviously, like later, I mean. Because the knight can always move back to g5 and do some damage later on with. But right now, actually, knight c7 I think is a threat to pick up the rook on.
Yeah, a lot of discoveries available.
8. So I think just king h8 or king h8 might just be the best approach for black to get off of that. No, but then at the same time, there's also bishop takes b7. That is also a threat with a discovery. There's just so many discoveries here. Actually, this is probably the best chance for. Yep, this is probably the best chance to be down exchange, but I still don't think that this is that great because white is just going to double up on the d file. There's queen c5 and queen c7 coming in. There's just way too much going on. That bishop on d7, sadly to say. Oh yeah, that wasn't really. That was a give up, sadly.
Yeah,
to say.
I mean that's
really
actually a good game.
Ooh,
good game by
blind
swine.
Squid. There's blind swine mate was under a threat. It's the 2 rook checkmates.
Oh, I
don't know why it's called blind swine
mate. Yeah, I was not aware actually it's called that way.
In English, it's.
Actually, do you call this rooks like some people told me they call this the pigs, like the double rooks on d7. Do you call that in Canada?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if in Russian it was.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was surprised to hear.
Well, now white's just picking up. White's just picking up the pawns though.
Yeah.
Here.
Do you have any infos about the Caroline's game? Because that one might be decisive. No, not at all.
I've been. Don't worry. I've been contacting whenever there's technical difficulties. I've been You're the one that's running the stream. I'm the one that's figuring out all of the technical difficulties. So don't worry about it.
Oh, I see. Okay, I mean,
I will let you know. But I have been following both Snowman and their game is still not on. So I think the technical difficulties have been ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna be right back.
Sure.
In 1 minute. I'm so sorry about that.
Sure, no worries.
Oh, there was a stalemate on the board.
Wait, no way! I just updated the result and I called it a win, but it was actually oh my god. I was not expecting that one, everybody. So check that one out. Wow. Blood Squid is
I feel so bad.
No, it's an en passant save. He literally pre-moved king takes. Wow. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is like insane.
So that's what I was saying before.
King G2 would have been precise. Oh my god. Wow.
Yep. And I just mean that you need to make sure that when you are up material that you're not overconfident, because I just have a feeling that maybe white here just thought that anything can work, right?
Yeah, I mean we just got the
anything can work.
First stalemate of the day.
Yep.
Great.
But at least this is going to be a really good lesson for Mark, maybe in the future. In future, when he has so much extra material, that maybe he should try to keep as many black pawns that can move.
No, I think he's going to have a lot of
Actually, on the
a lot
board,
of a
right?
lot of
So that
nightmares with it today.
stalemate.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, for 1-1. Yeah, I guess that works. You could also do
Yeah.
0.5.
Yeah, it wasn't
0.5.
really fitting
But
the layout, but I'll just leave it 1-1, I guess.
no, it makes sense. No, it makes
Yeah.
sense. I'll be right back.
All right. So yeah, guys, that was how crazy was that? Like, I said it earlier. I was looking for actually like having an actual stalemate on the board, because that doesn't really happen very often. So yeah, talking about this strategy of going for the stalemate if you're trying to save the game, if it's like your only hope in the game, I mean, by all means, go for it. But when I was starting out chess, I had this really bad habit of whenever I was like worse or like losing a piece. So let's say in normal games, if you're down a piece, between lower rated players, anything can still happen. But when I was down a piece, I would just go give up all of my pieces and just hope that my opponent is going to mess it up and I'll get a stalemate. And that is just like a very poor strategy, to just completely give up on all your hopes for the game and just hope that you might be getting luckily a stalemate. I mean, the crazy thing was that I was getting stalemated quite a lot, but just by don't do it if you have like still plenty of chances to play a normal game. Do it if it's only like your only chance left. Like black did it here. The still shocked by this. Why would you? Okay, I mean, here it's already in stalemate, but I don't know. Just whenever like how you should try to avoid this kind of stalemates, just go with the checks. I mean, you can never go wrong with the checks, I guess. Just check it till it gets checkmated. Just try to whenever you check, it's not gonna be a stalemate. So that would be like an easy way out, I would say. So yeah. So still no Caroline game. It says 0-0. Maybe they just agreed to a draw, and this ends up as another tie. This round 4. Oh, I can't hear you, Lisa. Oh, I can hear you now.
Oops. There you go. Sorry about that. I was just gonna say that that it seems like that the Carolyn and the man, there's some technical difficulties right now. So 1 second. Seems like the game called for Caroline in the tournament. So Pawnket games 1.
So
wait, no. It seems like if Snow, I think Snowman ends up winning that game if she didn't come to the game, because Carolyn was white, right? If white doesn't make a move in the game, basically black wins, right?
Doesn't it happen the other way? I mean, I don't know.
Why? White has to make a turn. It's not like in right? And over the board chess, yes, black presses the clock. But in online chess, white has to make the first move to let the time run.
Oh, so Caroline didn't make the first move.
Round 3, Mark Cuban against Caroline was reported as 1-0 in the tournament manager instead of what you guys have on stream.
Oh, so Mark Cuban won. Okay.
Round 3.
Yeah, I'll just fix that in a second. Okay, it's fixed. It's fixed now.
in game
So
three.
it's not
Yeah.
all tie. Yeah, that was my bad.
Oops.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mark
So
Cuban,
are
yes,
we
Mark
going
Cuban.
to get any
So the
actual games, or
so
we're
so
just
the
finished?
Carolyn game, I I think I think I think I think the Carolyn game is I think we should actually mark it as a draw.
Okay, we can do
Um
that.
because because they might end up playing maybe the game later, maybe, um but from what we have currently speaking, it seems like um let me see. It seems like IBM is has won this round if we mark the last game as a draw
Yeah, and it
here.
it looks like an overall win
But it was
for
very
IBM.
close.
Yeah.
But good job to both teams. By the way, we are going to be going on a little break because we're hoping to potentially have an interview with one or both of the teams. So if you guys can just give us a few minutes, and we'll hopefully we can get someone on the team and come and talk about the experience. Otherwise, if none of the team captains can make it today, then I guess we're gonna call it a day. But hopefully we can get that sorted. You can actually, Alex, if you want, you can put the BRB
All right. I'll do
BRB
that.
up.
I'll do that. All right. All right. I'll also make sure to mute myself. So.
But yeah, awesome.
unmute this, and yeah, I think this should be great.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you, IBM and Pocket Gems. Thank you so much for playing, this round, and great games from both sides. It was very, very close. How do both of you feel about the games today? Let's have IBM go first.
I think we all had fun. We were slacking a little bit after the games finished. Everyone had a good time. Personally, I've been on a bit of a losing streak all week, so this was par for the course. But I had a good time. It was some challenging play, and got to draw the last match by en passant, which is always a thrill, right?
That
Yeah.
was really surprising. We really enjoyed it here in the stream.
I flipped out. I was so excited.
But these type of things happen, especially when you are not consistently playing chess, right? Like every day, like some of the other chess players. You guys are also working full time. So, how about Pawnket Gems? How do you guys feel about this round?
Yeah, it was very good. We had a lot of fun. It was very close. We got to see stalemate also at the end. That, that was a deciding match actually. Yeah, but overall it was very fun.
I'm glad that you guys enjoyed. I mean, chess is all about, learning, and think about it this way: either you win or you learn. Um, every game that when you make mistakes, hopefully you end up not making mistakes in future rounds, right? It's just a learning experience. Yeah, and I think it was a really, really close match, and I think it was a really good. I think it was really good kind of team setup that Florian actually chose, because you guys were quite close in rating too, so it was quite equal
Yeah,
in that
very
regard.
fighting match, as you pointed out.
Exactly.
Like I said, we were all a little intimidated going into it for the last couple days, so there was a little bit of scrimmage on our end, but the Pawnket definitely put up a fight for sure.
But like this is I understand that this competition is to of course like win and support your favorite charity, but at the end of the day, this is supposed to also be for fun, right? You are trying to play your best chess for your team, but as long as you're having fun, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we kind of end the stream, I just wanted to like ask if you guys have anything that you would like to say regarding your organization. Just so that if anyone wants to know. I know with IBM, when I saw your guys' name, I was like, holy, Deep Blue. This is really cool chess history with IBM.
Yeah, that theme gets batted around a lot in some of our like chat channels and stuff too. I think a lot of us joke around about being very shallow thought as compared to the famous engine. But I think recently there was like the 25th anniversary or something, so that's been getting batted around a lot.
Okay. And I haven't actually heard too much about Pawnket Gems. If you can maybe tell us a little bit more information regarding the company.
Yeah, so our company name is Pocket Gems. We actually build mobile games. So it's actually very fun. So
Oh,
we generally play other games in the company, but we don't play chess as much. So it's really like good experience to play with our teams also. So yeah.
yeah. I mean, this is a new addition to the CEA, because it's mostly been video games, but they decided this year to add on chess because of like the chess boom that happened last year with Twitch and the Queen's Gambit. How did you two like the Queen's Gambit if you watched it?
I watched it. It's very good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, they definitely found a way to make chess, gripping.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you guys, unless you have anything else to say, I thank you so much for coming here and talking to us after the match. And we both want to wish you luck in future games.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good fight, guys.
Thank you, and have a great one. Good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye, guys. Have a great one. Okay. Okay, and thank you to everyone who is watching the stream. Appreciate it. We are going to be back next week, same time, 10 a.m. for our future. Oh, something's happening to my camera.
Yeah, I don't know what's
anyway.
happening, but
Oops. Hey, I look prettier now. Anyways, well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's match, and we're going to be back next week, same time, 10 a.m., 10 a.m. PST or 1 p.m. Eastern, and or 8 p.m. GMT +2 or Romanian time.
yeah, good
So,
point. All right.
Hope to see you guys
All
next
right.
week, and thank you so much.
All right, make sure to be there. Bye.
Bye, guys. No worries.
You guys can also raid a different channel if you want.
Whew. Oh yeah, you could. Can you? Can we raid? You guys can raid. Because I don't think we can raid ourselves. Can you? Can you raid through OBS?
Let's see. Let's
I
raid.
didn't.
Who's my? Let's raid GM Hikaru. Let's see.
They're gonna do it. Like that was actually one of the issues. Like when you have someone else when you give someone else the stream key, yes, it gives you like the lenience of like of